Hey everybody, Seth Campbell here with the new Segue Says podcast. Couple bits of housekeeping, first of all. To start, I think I'm going to move the podcast back to its original Wednesday slot because that's what seems to be happening anyway with the schedule and the new semester starting and me falling behind already. So I think that's how it's going to be going forward. Secondly, as you can see, I'm trying a new lighting scheme here just to see how that works, especially because the sort of darker mood fits the songs we're playing today. Now, today we have two all-time great artists, one of which we haven't seen before, that would be The Who, and the second we've seen once before, and is also basically responsible for creating the segue in pop rock music, and that would be the Grateful Dead. The songs, The Who song is Eminence Front from the 1982 album It's Hard, and the Grateful Dead song is Help on the Way / Slipknot from the Blues for Allah record. For our purposes, I'm just going to call it Help on the Way because that's the section of the song that we're going to be focused on for the segue, and I'll get into that in a bit. Now, both these songs are at fairly similar tempos. I think Eminence Front might be a little bit slower, but it's easy to finesse. It really doesn't matter if you speed one up slightly or slow one down slightly, because no one's going to notice, really. Both are in the key of F minor. Eminence Front is the only song from the It's Hard album to essentially become a live staple, and if the stories I've heard are true, it originated out of a onstage jam during soundcheck, which would make sense because it's mostly just two chords, F minor, or F minor 7 more specifically, and this D flat major, which sometimes is a major 7, sometimes is a dominant 7. Kind of switches depending on where in the song it is. And there's a long guitar solo before there are any lyrics, just over these two chords, so it very much has an improvisational feel to it. This was, of course, sometime after Keith Moon had died, so some people have dismissed the later era Who songs, but I really like this one, and you'll know it because it's on that car commercial. I don't know what brand. I think it's Mazda. I'm not sure. It's on every 3 minutes on TV these days. You hear that sort of phased organ keyboard, and I can't replicate the sound because I don't know what's going on. You should know it by now. Sun shines, people forget. Spray flies, speedboat glides, people forget. Forget they're hiding in the sun. People forget, as I forget the lyrics. Snowpacks, round skiing tracks, people forget. Forget they're hiding behind an eminence front. Behind an eminence front, it's a put on. Behind an eminence front, behind an eminence front, it's a put on. Put on. Come and join the party, dressed to kill. Come and join the party, dressed to kill. Dressed to kill. Then it goes to the next verse. This is one, so both of these songs, actually, for some reason, I have a really hard time remembering the lyrics, because it's essentially, at least this one is essentially a list form, and then Help on the Way has a strange rhyme scheme, which you'll see briefly. I really like this song. It's a great It's a song about the fragile facade of the suburbs. Everyone trying to seem wealthy, affluent, cultured, whatever you want to fancy, um, more so than they actually are, and getting then caught up in their own fantasy of reality. So it's a really cool song that has this really sort of dark feel to it that I really like. And similarly, with a dark feel, though the lyrics are a little more uplifting, is "Help on the Way." Now, it's the first track on the album Blues for Allah, which came out in 1975. It's actually, the first track is 2 songs. It's "Help on the Way," "Slipknot." And in itself is a segue, because it's basically one piece with 2 very distinct parts. And then, out of Slipknot, it doesn't, the record does, there's no space before the next song, which is called Franklin's Tower. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this. But first, I want to give you a taste of "Help on the Way." Paradise waits on the crest of a wave of angels in flames. She has no pain. Like a child, she is pure, she is not to blame. Pause for flight, wings spread bright, spring from night into the sun. Don't stop to run. She can fly like a light, she can't be outdone. Next verse. The lyrical structure, I believe Robert Hunter, and in fact, actually, yes, Robert Hunter is the Grateful Dead's non-performing lyricist of many songs. He wrote this particular lyric. The rhyme scheme is fascinating. I encourage you to look up the lyrics as a whole. Now, these songs sound so similar that if you've seen previous episodes of this podcast, you might be thinking, oh, this is really easy. It could be an in and out segue or either way. Not so, because "Help on the Way" is almost never performed alone. Because part of its majesty and its place in history is this bizarre rock with elements of prog before there really was much prog. Actually, no, there was prog by this time. I don't know what I'm saying. But there's also elements of jazz from Keith Godchaux's piano influence. And at the end of "Help on the Way," it sounds like it's the end. Crazy sequence that I finally learned. I'm going to see if I can get it right here. And remember, we're still in the key of F minor here. Almost got it, but now we're in A minor. And there's a long jam in A minor. And then another sort of this diminished thing. And now A major. It very quickly becomes Franklin's Tower. Which is basically this, the whole song. I don't know all the lyrics for Franklin's Tower yet. I'm working on it, but it's the one, if you've probably heard it on the radio, because this one was occasionally played on its own. Roll away the dew, this is the chorus. Roll away the dew. So the only way this could be an in and out segue or doing it either way is if you're only going to play the "Help on the Way" portion of Helps. This trio is often referred to, for sake of time, as "Help Slip Franklin." So if you're only going to play the Help on the Way portion, you could do this either way. Personally, Slipknot is really difficult, as you could probably see there. But I think it's worth it to play. And I don't see myself often playing. I mean, I just recently learned Help on the Way Slipknot, but I don't envision myself playing Help on the Way alone. So I will cover how to get from Help on the Way to Eminence Front if you want to do that. But I think that the cool way to do this is to start with Eminence Front and then just go into Help on the Way, Slipknot, Franklin's Tower, and wherever you want to go from there. Especially because Eminence Front really builds from nothing. You got this phased keyboard thing that, if I put a little tremolo on it, it's a little closer. I bent the joystick the wrong way. I didn't actually want to do that. I was just trying to release the tremolo. There's one for the next bloopers compilation. Anyway, it really builds from nothing into this grand jam that then becomes lyrical. Now, the way it ends is the same way it gets out of the first verse. Come and join the party, dressed to kill. And then holds on this C sus chord, C minor sus. Bet you dressed to kill. And then it just hits the F and drops. Now, conveniently, Help on the Way starts with this staccato. So because they're both abrupt, it shouldn't be too difficult to see where we're going with this. So you have just to kill. Bet you just to kill. Paradise waits on the crest of a wave of angels and flames. And there you have it. It's taking advantage of the abruptness of both. Now, like I said, going the other way, you wouldn't have that because there really is no ending to Help on the Way. Well, I mean, I'm sure there is, because I'm sure there are plenty of people who played just Help on the Way. So if you're looking for an ending that doesn't involve playing Slipknot, I'd probably advise looking to cover versions and cover bands. I'm sure there are plenty out there because it's a great song, and hopefully a lot of people know how to play it. Maybe I just have too much faith in people's musical taste. But anyway, it'd probably be something like this, because this is how you get into Slipknot. Da 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 da. Or just standing on. Now, that is the way you want to do this if you want to go into Eminence Front. You want to hold out on this chord rather than end on this line. Because holding on this chord allows for that weird, phasey keyboard organ pad part to come in. Cameo that line from Help on the Way there. Of course, you don't want to do that if you didn't start with Help on the Way, because then you're giving away what you're going to do later. But that's essentially it. So, again, up to you how you want to do this. Personally, I like to include Slipknot with Help on the Way, but maybe that's just me. Maybe a lot of people prefer just have Help on the Way and then go into Eminence Front rather than go into Slipknot. So, again, totally up to you. I'm just a messenger. I get these song concepts to you, and hopefully you do whatever you want to do with them, because that's the whole point. So thanks as always for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. And remember, this marks a countdown. 5 episodes. This is episode 96. So 5 episodes from now is the 100th episode spectacular. You don't want to miss this. So take care of yourselves. I will see you next week.